I will go ahead and get started now. So I'm just going to start off with an introduction. Welcome to ESMOA. We are so excited to have you here for Rainbow Visions Prismatic Beings with Edgar Fabián Frías. My name is Marissa Kimikata. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm the Getty Merrow Undergraduate Education and Public Programs intern here at ESMOA. We want to recognize and acknowledge that we are guests in the homeland territory of the Gabrielino Tongva, and we extend our respect and gratitude to the many indigenous people who call these lands home. As also, just a reminder that today's program is going to be recorded and will be available on YouTube at a later date. So feel free to use the chat and you can message Holly or me with any questions or concerns. And an introduction for our guest today, Edgar Fabián Frías is a non-binary, queer, indigenous, Latinx, and brown multidisciplinary artist, curator, educator, and psychotherapist. They work in photography, video art, sound, sculpture, printed textiles, GIFs, performance, social practice, and community organizing, among other emergent genres. Most recently, they've integrated their diverse practices and collaborative partnerships into the creation of large-scale interactive installations and experiences, seeking to alter states of awareness through the creation of temporary sanctuaries that act as conduits for respite, empathy, self-reflection, humor, and curiosity. With the challenges of a virtual world and the loss of queer spaces due to COVID, it is a testament to the creative ingenuity and of Pride Month to create spaces virtually to celebrate and commune together. Casting gender-expansive spells, such as for protection or intention setting, and tarot reading allows for healing, but also for reframing traditional ways of thinking and opening new avenues of being. So we invite you all to tap into your magic and join us in welcoming Edgar Fabián Frías.
Hello, everyone. So happy to be here. Thank you so much, Marissa and Holly, for inviting me to be a part of this incredible and really expansive series at ESMOA. I'm so honored to also be connecting with all of you here today in this space. As you shared, Marissa, it's really beautiful for us to come together, especially here on this last day of Pride Month, for us to all be here in this space to set intention, to do some magic, and to talk a little bit about queerness and magic and all the ways that they intersect together. I'm just, really grateful for this platform and for just everyone coming together with their presence. I'm going to start to share my screen here. I think this is a good moment for us to all come together with our breath. Just to really kind of set a gentle intention here. I'm going to invite us all at the count of 3 to take a few breaths here in this space, just to move us into our body a little bit. You can either keep your eyes open or focus them here on the screen, whatever feels right for you. And I'm going to count to 3. 1, 2, 3. And one more time. 1, 2, 3. And we'll do that one last time together. 1, 2, 3. And take a moment and notice if you can just check out your energy, the way that you're showing up here to this space. And just notice what kind of color you feel like right now. What color are you bringing into this space that we're all sharing together? And gently letting yourself come back here to this space. opening your eyes or moving around. Yeah, thank you everyone for that. I'd love to invite in, just as a way for us to kind of get into this space, if you want to share in the chat what color you saw, what color you're bringing in into this rainbow vision that we're all creating here together. Just so that we get a sense of who's present, what colors they're bringing. Yeah, and we're going to be working with the chat. I definitely want this to be collaborative. I would love to hear from folks, and Marissa and Holly are going to be really letting me know if there's anything in the chat. So feel free to ask questions or share any comments, bring yourself into the space. We're going to be talking about a few things. I think one really big thing that kind of brings together this whole experience is that I see a deep connection between magic and divination and my sense of self as a person, and also my sense of self in community. So I just wanted to share a couple of things to kind of start a little bit as like a reference point. Some things that I feel like my own Western upbringing here in the United States, in my own family, kind of really taught me. And these are things that I feel like I've been kind of unlearning throughout this process of working with magic, and also thinking about my sense of self as well. So I'll just read a few of these things. One is that our consciousness exists in our brain and our mind only, that our mind is tied to our body, that linear, logical, language-based thought is superior, that imagination is a quote unquote waste of time or not real or quote unquote for children, that we need to be managers all the time in order to survive. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. That altered states are bad or scary, that time is linear, and that there's no such thing as time travel or as knowing about the future, that humans are the only ones who have consciousness, that death is the end, and that there are binaries and borders. So these are some things that I really kind of internalize that really kind of make up a lot of like the way that I was brought up. And I feel throughout my life, through the blessings and many gifts of gender expansive queer magic, I've been really able to witness, experience, and live other realities. And so these are some things that I've learned that I'm hoping that we can all share together, and we'll talk a little bit more about them as we go on into this event. One is that we all have rainbow vision, that we're all able to really tap into the prismatic magic of this universe, and that of course we are also prismatic beings. And that ceremony is a portal, that it is a place that exists both outside of and through time and space. The magic is holographic, it touches all, affects all. That ceremony and divination allow for self-reflection and collective synchronicities. That imagination is magic and it opens up possibilities. And that plants and animals are constantly communicating. We could also add other beings into that. That our consciousness is malleable, it is fluid, it can be guided and directed, and that our ancestors are here to support us in this moment, that they provide us with support and care, and that you are an ancestor. And last, and definitely not least, that altered states are natural and healthy. And so, I think these are things that I've learned in many different ways. I'm a pretty interdisciplinary person. So I wanted just to share a couple of places where I've kind of seen some of this come up. When there are definitely, there's much room to share gratitude to my own ancestors, Wixárika of Mexico, for their sacred knowledge that they've shared with me, both through living ancestors, as well as through sacred ancestors that have come through in ceremony, through dreams. And also the knowledge that our indigenous community and our Black and Brown communities are sharing constantly now as well, and that we're a part of. And also, in the West, I definitely feel like there are many people who are also thinking about the expansiveness of consciousness. And I wanted just to highlight one modality that I've connected with known as internal family systems. And they see us as being a multiplicity of consciousness. So we're not just one consciousness, there are many parts of us. And one of the parts that we talked about are managers, and our managers are really the people that help us pay our bills and like wake up on time and make sure our homework is turned in and that we've gotten that application in right before the deadline. Like those are the managers that are there making sure things are going well. And then we also have many other parts, though, that are not managers. We have, playful parts, parts that want to hide. And, one thing I love about this modality is that it really talks about that no part is a bad part. We really want to embrace all parts of the self. And so, along with this notion that our awareness and our consciousness are fluid, I also have studied this field known as interpersonal neurobiology. And this field really talks about us having a hub of awareness. And so you can see in the center of this image here, there is a place where we can kind of have our awareness and our attention and then move it out to different parts that our awareness is able to touch. So we can guide, we can move our awareness to feel into different elements. And so I'll just do really short, just an example of this so people can get a sense of it. So we're going to take a moment and let yourself feel any smells or take in any smells that are in this area in your room. Notice if you smell anything. And now take a moment and notice any sounds. It may be the sound coming in through the headphone, or there might be sounds coming through in the background. And then we're going to move our awareness to our mental activities. What kind of thoughts are coming into the mind in this moment? Are you thinking about something you have to do later? Are you kind of taking a moment to take in this information? Is it bringing up memories? And then we're going to take a moment and move our awareness into our body and see if we can notice our heart for a second. Noticing if we can feel into the interior of the body. And last, I want you to think of someone. It could be a person, it could be an animal friend that just fills you up with such a sense of joy and happiness and love. And just let yourself feel the connection you have with them. And now we're going to take it into this group, and I want everyone to notice what it feels like to be here in this shared space together, connected here through the web. Notice if you could feel your connection with everyone else here in this group. Okay, let yourself come back. Bring your awareness back here to the computer screen, back here to where I'm speaking with you. So that's just to kind of show how our consciousness is fluid, how it can move around, it moves into different spaces. And, I think I really, throughout my life, have many moments where I've really witnessed this, where I've really gotten to experience this. And I just put a couple of things up here where I feel like I've been invited, sometimes gently and sometimes not so gently, by different elements in my life towards this expansion of consciousness. One, I have here an image of a melon. I have a moment in my life where a melon just very directly sent me a message, a very loud message. It was one of my first times in my life receiving a message from a plant, not expected. And since then, I've had many, many conversations and connections and collaborations with plants. I see plants as really eager to connect and to speak with us. And in the same way, I've also had really powerful moments of expansion with the clouds, of just really receiving messages, being drawn into having my mind enter into the clouds. And in a similar way, I've had many dreams in my life that have brought forward messages that have allowed me to enter into other timelines. And of course, writing as well as art practice have been incredible oracular spaces where I've also received many messages. And so I think, it's one thing that I love about magic and divination is that just like queerness, just like the experience of being a person, it is so diverse, it is so expansive, and it really also helps you really understand um, yourself, both in your own sense of self as a person, but also your sense of self in connection, in relationship. And a lot of my experiences of expansion have really opened up my own heart and mind towards my deep connection with other beings. And so in that way, I would say that, ceremony and divination take many forms. And I want to really just like highlight and really uplift that there are many ways that we can connect with the divine. We're going to be practicing one tonight with some tarot at the end of this. But I really want to just say that there is such an expansive openness in the ways that we can really connect with the sacred, and that there are many cultures around the world that have really beautiful lineages and legacies of connection with the sacred. And just putting up a couple of different ways here. Of course, in the back, there's some candle with some fire, really opening up that sacred space with fire, letting the spirits know that you're present. And then there are some crystals that are used for crystal gazing or also for setting intention. And we're going to be working with a quartz crystal tonight with the tarot reading that we're going to be doing together. And then, of course, there are the tarot cards, and there are many different forms of tarot cards. There is a beautiful mushroom medicine in the center. Mushrooms are also, like many plants are really powerful allies to help us connect with other states of consciousness and awareness. And then there is dance and movement and ceremonial enactment, embodiment. Those are also ways that people enter into these sacred states, into these sacred structures. And, I also want to just uplift that there are many beings that enter into ceremony in their own way, and that there are many beings that want to collaborate with us and connect with us. As I said, I work a lot with plants. When I do magic work, I'm very much a plant witch myself. And so I love connecting with plants, for example, as flower essences, and just having plant allies around me. And I also love connecting with animals, and that there are also other forms of beings out there that want to connect with us in ceremony as well, that we can really invite in. And, I've mentioned this word a couple of times, ancestor, and I wanted just to kind of speak a little bit about this. So, as a person who has, part of my identity is that my ancestors are from Mexico. I am, Huichol or Wixárika, and there's definitely a deep lineage from that I'm connected to, and I've received many messages from my Wixárika ancestors who've sent me very specific messages about my role, who I'm supposed to be, how I'm supposed to engage with other communities. They've sent me images about projects, and they've asked me to do things. And in a similar way, I also have such a profound connection with my queer, trans, and gender variant ancestors who have also come and really provided me with support and guidance throughout my life. And they've really shown up in ways that have really been so meaningful. And I really feel a lot of my upbringing didn't really allow me to understand how much they were supporting and helping me. And so it's been such a gift to be able to connect with them more in the last few years. And I also want to name that there are plants and animals that are our ancestors that are also here to help, that are also here to support. And in the top right, there is an image of Gayumari, who is a sacred blue deer of the Wixárika. And they're an intermediary or an interlocutor, someone who goes in between the divine and the earthly realms. And so I know that there are also many spirit beings who are ancestors who want to support us as well. And that there are many people who've also spoken about the power of imagination, especially within as we're living in times where, because of colonization and patriarchy and capitalism, many people have been dislocated from their cultures, from their lands. And so many times imagination can be a powerful tool to work with, to really imbue and forge ancestral connection, especially if it's been ruptured. And I really want to honor the Afrofuturist kind of lineages, the indigenous futurist lineages that have really brought this forward into our collective consciousness as well, in me naming that. And, I really feel like collaboration is something that's really key for us to do some magic work together as we're kind of moving into that a little bit. We're going to be collaborating. I'm definitely going to be inviting people to use the chat, and we're going to be setting some intentions together. And, I like to think about experiences and processes as kind of, they're similar things, but I definitely always like to highlight, especially being an artist, that there are ways for us to ground messages that we receive from the oracular, from the spiritual realm. We can bring our rainbow vision into this world by writing, by drawing, by dancing, whatever way it moves through you. Really to ground it and to physicalize it can also really allow for more information to come through you as well. So something I always like to bring up, that in the work that we're going to do today, if afterward you feel called to write or to draw, or to process in some way the messages that come through for us in the spell that we're about to do, definitely feel free to do that. And so, I've been talking a lot about ceremony, and we're about to kind of set an intention and open up a space together. I like to see ceremonial space as a timeless space that we enter in together. It's a space that thousands and thousands of humans and other beings have entered into. It's a space that connects us. And, there are many ways to enter. There are many processes, and people in different cultures do it in different ways. And just have a couple of things here that I like to think about when I'm doing my own rituals or ceremonies. It's really great to set an intention before you start. You can open up the space by doing some sort of energy work or cleansing or protecting, and we'll do a little bit of that together. You can invite in some support. And then we get to play and have an open space. And with that, we're going to play with some tarot here together. And then we're going to process and close. So we'll do a little bit of all of that. And I'm going to be inviting you all along throughout this ritual to really yeah, provide some support and to imbue the spell that we're going to be casting together with your own essence. And you're going to be doing that with the chat. And at the end, I will be asking if people want to unmute themselves to share any intentions. But before we kind of get into it, I would just like everyone to just take a moment here. We're going to transition into doing a spell together. So I know I've been talking a lot. So I'm going to take a sip of water. I'm going to again count to 3. Have you turn your awareness inward. And we're going to take a deep breath at the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Just letting your awareness move into the body. Letting yourself feel the sensation of your breath, the weight of your body. And I want you here to take a moment and set an intention for this gender-expansive tarot spell that we're about to cast together. Notice what comes up. If there's any desire, any questions that show up for you. Now, I want us to imagine here as we're in this space together that there's a beautiful rainbow that starts to glow and grow in our hearts. And with every breath that we take, we witness this rainbow growing larger and larger. Notice all the colors of the rainbow. Notice if it changes as it expands with every breath. Now I want us to imagine that this rainbow continues to grow and it actually ends up growing outside of our rooms. It gets bigger and bigger. And we start to imagine that as we take even deeper breaths, that this rainbow starts to connect with the other rainbows in this space. And I'm going to count to 3 again. And we're going to take a deep breath together. And as we exhale, I want us to imagine that all the rainbows join together and encircle us with their protection, with their chromatic magic and their care. 1, 2, 3. So now that we're here in the center of this rainbow ring, we'd like to invite in any guides or any ancestors who have our highest good in their hearts to come forward and to enter into this space with us. And I'm going to count to 3 one last time, and we're going to take another deep breath together and gently let ourselves return back to this space. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay, I want to invite you in this space to just share in the chat anything that came forward that feels important to share, any intention that you set for this reading. Just bring it into the chat. And I'm going to be shuffling the cards here. Just imbuing these cards with the energy of the group. Thank you so much. I'm taking a moment here to read the chat. Just receiving these beautiful words and intentions from everyone. Thank you so much for sharing. Ooh. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Really appreciating everything everyone is sharing in the chat. I can feel it coming in through my body here as I read it and moving it into these cards. Oh. Thank you everyone for really just being vulnerable and showing up in this way. I can just really feel the presence of the group here. So many beings, so many humans and animals and other beings coming into this space. I can feel them. Yes, and I love that intention to play and to be open and grow. We're definitely collaborating on this together, and I would love to hear any thoughts that come forward as we're doing this spell. I would love for us to all imbue our magic into this space. Yes, yes. Thank you for your incredible intentions. Okay, I'm going to be picking some cards here, really appreciating what people are sharing in the chat. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And would really love to invite everyone to hold some space for all the wonderful, impactful things that people are sharing here in the chat as we start to do this gender expansive collective tarot spell. So the first card that we're going to pull is, what are some of the expansive gifts that we are receiving here in this moment as we're sharing space together? Oh my goodness. And so what comes forward is the Six of Keys. I'll just show you the card. Wow. So this is a card of someone who has been through it. And I think a lot of us have been through it. It's been such a challenging last few months. There's been so much happening. And even as we've been celebrating in Pride, there's also been so much to be angry about, to mourn about. And this is really a card about the struggle and someone who's been really working and trying. And this is such a profound message that as we've been working and trying and wanting things to shift and change, that we are getting closer and closer to a victory, to an overcoming, a transforming. You can see this person here in the center. They have their arms up. They're feeling in a place of victory. And so we are receiving this feeling of victory here together in this moment. We are receiving this feeling of having worked really hard, having wished and struggled. Really, this is really a card of struggle, and really saying we are moving towards a place of victory. And so letting yourself just feel that victory for a moment, let yourself receive the energy of victory. I'm going to put my arms up just to let myself feel that victory expansion. And it doesn't matter if you don't have anything to feel victory about, just let yourself feel that energy for a moment. This is the gift that we're receiving here. We are victorious in this moment together in this space. Whew. And we're moving down this reading clockwise, and we're going to card number 2. And that card asks us, what are some expansive gifts that we're sharing with others? Oh, wow. And so we get the World card, and I love this card so much. You can see this beautiful being is dancing. They are moving their body. This connects so much with the last card that we just got. They're very similar energies. They're both about victories and also about completing cycles and being in a place where we can really play and be free and be open and let ourselves be seen. I know a lot of us have been really internal. I know we just went through a retrograde, and also so much of our society has been moving us inward. And this is really the card of saying we are going to cherish all of those beings who are coming out of their caves and who are going to be showing themselves to us. So we are giving the world, we are giving our attention, our awareness, our care to those who are showing up, who've moved through cycles. And of course, it's all recursive. So as we give our awareness and our care to others, it is returned back to us as well. And so this is also an invitation to dance and to play and to let yourself be the fool, because this is an ending and a new beginning. This is the last card of the major arcana, and the first card of the major arcana is the Fool. So they're very interconnected. So that intention that someone shared in the chat to play is such a beautiful intention, and we're gonna give that energy of play, of witnessing to others. So that's what we're sharing, the expansiveness that we're sharing with others. And so now our third card, the card on the bottom, is what are some expansive gifts that we're co-creating together? Oh my goodness. So beautiful. So what comes forward is the strength card. Yeah, I'll just put this up just so people can see it for a moment. Yeah, so we're co-creating a space where we can be vulnerable together, where we can really just share our fears, where we can share those things that we maybe have had to hide. And we're co-creating a space where there's more empathy, more compassion, where we're able to ask for help because we're a part of a web of care. And so the strength card really is about tapping into those parts of us that we've had to exile, that we've maybe thought, um, you know, we're not helpful or we're not, I guess, like, going back to what we were talking about at the beginning, I feel like the managers sometimes get tired or frustrated with the parts of us that we exile sometimes that are more playful, that want to really show up in ways that maybe our society says we're not supposed to. And so we are co-creating another dimension, one where we're able to really show up in our fullness, our authenticity. And that is a gift of the strength card. And I love that we get to share this with others. So send that strength energy, that loving, caring energy through this beautiful rainbow ring that's surrounding us, that's holding us, because we are witnessing each other and we are sharing invulnerability together. And that's definitely what we're doing in this space. Really appreciating people just sharing here in the chat. I'm going to just take a second to look. Oh, yes, 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 yes. Oh my goodness. Getting so many chills just feel from this reading. So the last card is our sacred message from our ancestors, knowing that our ancestors are so expansive. They are queer, they are trans, they are gender variant, they are connected through our lineages, they are imagined, and they have brought forward the divine temperance card. So I'll show that again. Ooh, this is such a powerful card. Thank you, ancestors. So the ancestors want us to remember that we are mutants. We're alchemical beings. We're able to transform anything we touch with our magic, with our consciousness. And that is a gift that we have. That is a gift we've inherited. And so just know that anything that comes forward in this world, we are able to really connect with it, to work with it. Just know that we have all the hidden knowledge, all the hidden gifts in our being, that we are the ultimate transformer, transmuter, recreator, and that that's what we're doing as we are casting this spell. We are casting a spell for transformation, for bringing some more balance and harmony into our lives, for bringing more synchronicity, and also for cherishing the way that we can show up in our full selves, knowing that we contain multitudes, we are expansive. And you can see this being, they are very expansive. They have wings. They're, pouring water in between them. And you can see behind them, there's also the sun. So this is also a card of hope, a card of trust, and also of divine guidance. And so our ancestors really are bringing forward this message that they are here with us, they are guiding us, they are moving with us, and they're also here to do some magic with us. Ah, I can feel that mutant energy between us. I can feel us really transforming some energy here together. So grateful for the ancestors showing up in this way and really bringing in their alchemical magic. I want to take a moment here and I'm going to bring forward this quartz crystal that I'm holding here in my hands. After this reading, I want to invite you just to take a moment and see what comes forward for you. What are you wanting to imbue into this spell that we are casting here together? So just take a moment and I'm going to ask you either to put it in the chat or unmute yourself and just say it out loud so we can move it into this crystal as part of this spell work.
What was coming through for me was unapologetic courage.
Thank you so much for that, Eden. Really appreciate you sharing that unapologetic courage, bringing it into this space. And thank you, Holly, for sharing my joy, my hope, my desire for connectedness. Yes. And thank you, Liv, for sharing that magic. Yes, please, anyone else, feel free to unmute or put it in the chat. Francisco saying pleasure and transformative expansiveness. Yes, feeling that pleasure, feeling that transformative expansiveness. JP, the energy from this moon in Aries and sun in Cancer, fire and water transformations. Yes, thank you for bringing in the astrological bodies that are here with us in a collaboration. Marissa shares peace in mind and in heart. Yes. Yes. Thank you for that. B. Schneider says, felt a warmth and a sense of belonging in the expansiveness. Thank you for sharing that and bringing that into this quartz and also feeling that in the rainbow that is connecting us. My desire to open to the messages of my ancestors. Thank you, Liv, for sharing that. Yeah, such a beautiful desire, and I can feel the ancestors wanting to also open up and connect with you. Jason shares, spreading into the wider world like an elixir image of ink dropped into water. Ooh, thank you for that visual, Jason. Thank you so much, everyone. I can feel the crystal vibrating here in my hands. I would love to invite anyone else to share their intention either out loud or in the chat. I'll just take another minute or so here. Thank you, Veronica. Embracing my fears, my worries, all my spiraling thoughts. I feel the universe and ancestors sending me a message of enlightenment and transformation. Yes, holding on to the multitude, embracing, feeling that enlightenment and transformation. Thank you so much. Wow. Okay, so Just going to invite any last minute intentions that anyone wants to share. Let it be known so we can weave it into this spell that we're casting. And for the rest of you, I'd like for you just to take a moment and just really connect here with every beautiful intention that's been shared by the group. Just let yourself hold on to those messages. Just let yourself connect through this rainbow bridge, this rainbow portal. Yes, and thank you, Brittany. So happy to be here sharing space and looking forward to connecting more with others, ancestors, plants, and animals. Yes, let this be a portal for more connection in many ways. Thank you so much for that, Brittany. And Liv says, I'd also like to say a prayer for the Romani people, past and present, and thank them for their contribution to Tarot, which we benefit from so much. I pray for justice for Stanislav Tomas and fairness and an end to systemic violence against all people. So mote it be, Liv. Thank you so much for naming that. Really appreciate you making that sacred connection. Knowing that, as you said, we all benefit so much from this sacred wisdom and tradition that's been brought into this world by the Romani people. Okay, I'd like to just invite everyone to we're going to spend about a minute here just connecting with this energy, taking a few breaths together. This is a moment for you to also send this energy out to anyone in your life that you feel may be needing it. I'd like to name that I would love to send this energy out to all the queer, trans, and gender variant people of this planet. May they be safe and protected. May they be cared for. May they be brought into the center of communities. We're going to just take a couple more seconds here to share any more internal prayers or intentions you want to share, to weave it into this spell that we're casting here together in this group. And I'm going to count to 3 one last time here together. And we're going to imagine that as we inhale, we take in all of these beautiful intentions into our being and they become one with us. And as we exhale, we send out these blessings, these gifts, these prayers to the rest of the world and to each other. 1, 2, 3. I want to thank all the ancestors and beings who've been here with us and ask them to please return. And I want to thank all of you for sharing in this sacred space, for sharing your sacred presence and your sacred magic in this space. let yourself come back, do anything you need to do to take care of your body. You need to move around, drink some water. Yeah. So we're going to just, I know we're at time, so definitely want to acknowledge that, but I also want to say if there's any questions, anything anyone wants to share before we say goodnight. Again, thank you everyone so much. This has been such a gift and an honor to be here in this space with all of you in this way. Yeah, so thank you. Oh, thank you so much, everyone. So much gratitude for all of you being here too. So beautiful to connect in this way. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you so much. Yes, this was so beautiful. Really appreciate all of you for weaving some powerful magic. Please let me know what emerges. I'm excited to hear how this shows up for you. Oh, thank you so much. Yes, such a beautiful opportunity here to connect together. Yes. Well, I wish you all so much love and so much rainbow magic. Thank you all so much. Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you for that question, B. I'm using the Collective Tarot deck. This was a deck made in Portland, Oregon by a group of queer and trans folks. It is out of print, unfortunately, but I did bring a couple of decks that you've probably maybe heard me talk about, but these are in print if you're interested in their gender expansive decks. One is Angela Mary Magic's Moon Baby Magic Tarot. The other is the Dreamer's Tarot by Marcella Kroll. So these are two decks that I also use that are pretty gender expansive in case you're interested in that. But I also know that the Collective Tarot does go on sale sometimes on eBay. So keep your eye out if you're ever interested in that. I have seen copies go up from folks. So thank you, everyone. Yeah, and I don't know if there's any last words that that we're going to share. Yeah. Any last thoughts?
Thank you
Yeah,
so much,
you.
Edgar. That was truly beautiful and amazing. Thank you so much for coming. And thank you everyone for coming here for this space. And Edgar, are there any like programming or events or projects that you would like to let everyone know about?
Just follow me on my Instagram and on my website, edgarfabianfrias.org. I definitely have a lot of events coming up in the next few months. I'm going to be a part of multiple group exhibitions and have a lot of different exciting things coming up in the next few months. So they will all be on my website. So yeah, please feel free to look it up there. And I also have a YouTube, and I definitely want to plug that, as we said, this is going to be on YouTube, and I also have a YouTube channel too. If people are interested in subscribing, I do readings there every once in a while and offer other kinds of videos too. Thank you. Have a beautiful evening, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming.